going on YouTube? Heylow here, bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2 1v1 matchup. So today we are going to be playing Chaos in a quick battle against Bretonnia. So let's dive into the comp. Alright, so front line is going to be 4 units of Chaos Warriors. On the flanks we're going to have a Chaos Marauder apiece. The back line is 2 Chosen with Halberds, and then we're going to have Kolek as our Lord, supported by a Chaos Sorcerer of Death. Out on our left flank over here, we're going to have 1 Chaos Chariot unit. And then screening up in front, we're going to have Vanguard deployed 3 Marauder Horsemen to kind of just hold this hill and give us eyes on what the Bretonnian is bringing. So for the Bretonnian, we are going to be having the Fey Enchantress supported by 2 Paladins, all on foot, a Grail Reliquary to support the front line, and we're going to have an entire front line of Foot Squires with 2 units of Spearmen at Arms on each flank. On the left flank over here, we will have Knights of the Realm, 2 of them, and on the right flank over here, we will have 2 Knights Errant. So a very infantry-heavy build by Bretonnia, kind of investing a lot into their Foot Squires, saving some money on the mounts for their lords. Definitely planning on overwhelming the front line, and then just getting lots of rear charges with these Knights on the flanks. So let's jump in here to the match. Alright, so initially I had wanted to take this hill, but having my horseman up here and seeing exactly what he brought, I ended up deciding that this probably isn't the best engagement for me, because I don't want to end up just sitting up here getting surrounded and slugging it out with a bunch of armor-piercing infantry while these knights can just kind of run rampant. It would prevent them from getting some solid rear charges, but I don't want to get overwhelmed and isolated. So I'm just going to pull back here, just kind of let my skirmishers do a little extra damage, burn through some of their ammo. You can see here he's hot on their heels, really trying to get after them, so they can't just plink away at his knights the entire match, which is a good call. You do want to try and take these guys out. I pull my chariot in on the left flank over here just to get it into my main body, keep it safe from all of these thirsty Knights of the Realm. But over here, he catches me out with my micro and gets in on my Marauder Horseman. But as soon as I see it, I pull them off, and I'm just going to start bringing my Chosen in. So I'm just going to kind of keep them here in sustained combat, because my horsemen are really cheap, and I do need to get rid of his cav. So I'm going to drop a Spirit Leech over here on his Knights Errant, and it's going to do a ton of damage. And as soon as the Chosen get in here, they're going to start absolutely wrecking these guys. As you can see, they're getting pretty destroyed, down to 27 models and routing. So not a bad trade for me. My Marauders are getting pretty messed up here. He's got another unit in here, and I'm losing these Marauder Horsemen. But to be fair, I need to get rid of these Knights more than I need my Marauder Horsemen, so I'll take that. Out on the left flank over here, he goes after a unit of my Marauders, and I take that charge, and I bring my Halberds in with Kolek to support. This Chariot going for a counter charge, dropping the Storm on some of the infantry, and then my Chaos Warriors are going to start taking this fight as well. So he's going to pull out. But yeah, my Sorcerer is just kind of over here bullying the Fey Enchantress because she's on foot. And all in all, for kind of a picture of the battlefield here, we're getting a little swamped in the melee engagements because the Foot Squires are all armor piercing and they're very high unit count, and the Chaos Warriors are going to do okay and they're going to hold, but they're not going to do as much damage as we would like. So it's going to be a tough one here. You can see the balance of power pretty even. My Sorcerer is getting picked on now, the Paladin's going after him. So Kolek is just kind of hanging out here, trying to stay away from any like bad engagements with those Knights. But at this point, he's just going to get in and start going after the Fey Enchantress because the Knights are all pretty much out of position here, going after my skirmishers. But one of my Chaos Warriors gets pretty wrapped up, and the Foot Squires going into support here. My Sorcerer of Death being hounded by the Paladins. Kolek is going to absolutely beast on the Fey Enchantress. An opponent here is going to get a really nice rear charge, and you can see we've got another one coming in over here to try and get into my Chosen with Halberds. So it's going kind of rough for us so far. So he gets this nice charge here, and we're just going to kind of turn them about and try and fight. But the Warriors desperately trying to hold the line against all these Spearmen and these Foot Squires. Chariot's getting a bit bogged down here. But over in this engagement, my infantry getting pretty messed up. My Sorcerer is going to end up routing because he's getting bullied by the Knights. My skirmishers are still trying to harass, but my Chosen are pretty much the anchors for my flanks right now. These Halberds trying to hold up against the Foot Squires and what's left of the Cav. Chosen over here going to be getting charged, and they're going to tank this out. Not braced, so they're going to take some bullying, but we're going to start trading some damage with them really well here. But yeah, this whole left flank getting routed. My core is pretty much infantry free right now. We don't really have anything here. So Kolek's trying to get at the Fey, but the Paladins come and start trying to do some damage to him. So we're going to pull both our horsemen in, and they're just going to start bullying them around because they're on foot. So they're just kind of sitting here trying to get at Kolek, but with all these horsemen pushing them around, they're not going to have an opportunity. And that's going to give us free reign with Kolek and my sorcerer to just kind of kill off the Fey Enchantress here unopposed. So she's going down, sorcerer's going to deal with that. Kolek's going to get in here and start doing some damage on the paladins and pull out. So all in all, it's going okay, not the best for us because he still has some cav left and he gets a nice charge here against my sorcerer, but my halberds have pretty much wrapped up the flanks, and that's allowing my leadership and balance of power to stay at least decently in my favor. So that's going to start rallying what's left of some of my Chaos Warriors and some Marauders. We're going to try and just pull them back into the fight. So in the core here, we've got Kolek trying to duke it out, just trying to monster mash on the Grail Reliquary, because after the Fey Enchantress, he's the next biggest threat. These Paladins are tough and they do decent damage, but the Grail Reliquary gives the leadership bonus to everything around it, as well as doing like a magical aura effect. So we need to take him out if we're going to crack all of this Bretonnian infantry. So trying to get in this fight, this Paladin just kind of bullying on Kolek, but I land a really good hit there. So we get the Chariot in to just kind of disrupt, and Kolek's going to be just pulling and pushing this Grail Reliquary out of position. So we're going to be doing some decent damage on him. My Sorcerer is kind of just hanging out in the back, trying to stay safe. Chariot pulling through. My Chosen with Halberds wrap up the infantry engagements on both flanks. So now with all my rallying infantry, it's starting to look a little better in my favor, and we're just going to start pulling into the core here to support against the double Paladin and Reliquary. So the Chaos Warriors getting in here, the Chosen with Halberds coming in, and they still have a good amount of models left. So these Halberds, 47 models, and this one with 39. So that's going to be tough to deal with for my opponent now that all of his cavalry is pretty much shattered. And this entire time he's forgotten about a peasant bowman with pox arrows that he's going to be bringing up now. And this fight just not looking the best for him. His infantry is very out of place. Like, he's got some low leadership stuff, some great swordfoot squires just kind of coming back in. But at this point, I've got my high leadership. Kolek's got standard eye he's popping to increase the melee defense, and I'm just kind of gooning this out. I throw my Marauder Horsemen in just to stop the Peasant Bowmen from supporting this engagement with their pox arrows, and the Grail Reliquary is routing right now, so if we can kill him off, that's going to be a huge blow to Bretonnia leadership. And the Sorcerer's on after him, as well as these Marauders, so I turn Kolek about to try and deal with some of these Paladins. But the Grail Reliquary does go down, and that's going to leave just the Paladins, and you can already see the leadership tanking for these guys because they're entirely surrounded. And what does get in gets charged by some horsemen, the Chosen with Halberds here, and he's going to end up shattering from army losses. So definitely a really tough fight. I ended up getting absolutely carried on the backs of my Chosen and Kolek. I liked my opponent's army. It was definitely not what I was expecting, but the Fey Enchantress and these Paladins being on foot really crippled his ability to stay away from like Kolek and my Sorcerer who was on a horse. So it was definitely a tough fight for him. But yeah, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.